Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Stefano and welcome to my channel where I share with you guys some tips on self-improvement, health, and wellness. And I am your guinea pig. That means that I share my experiences that can help you maximize your potential. So for today's channel, I really want to focus on something that's very important to all of us, and that is sleep. Why? Because we spent 1/3 of our time on a bed sleeping. And the way we manage our sleep has a huge impact on everyday life and how we perform every day. So let's start with some basics, all right? As humans, we've evolved to be awake during the day and then to sleep at night, obviously. And this is in part because we see better during the day, and so we do our activities when there is light outside. And like all animals, we've developed a circadian rhythm. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe not, but it's pretty much our biological clock. It's the reason why we get sleepy when there is a lack of light, so at nighttime, and it's also the reason why as soon as we perceive light, we tend to wake up. Humans have evolved and developed this sleeping rhythm because of the cues of light we have in our environment. So when it gets dark at night, our eyes perceive the lack of light, which gives a signal to our brain to produce melatonin. Melatonin is a compound that induces sleep. And throughout the night, as we sleep, that increases. And then towards the end of the night, those levels of melatonin start to drop, which allows us to wake up. The perception of light in the morning is also a cue to our brain to start waking up. As you can see from the graph I'm showing right here, melatonin production increases in the evening, so around 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And then around 2 in the morning to 4 in the morning, melatonin levels peak. Then it drops quite quickly until the morning, and then the melatonin levels fall to normal daytime low by early morning. So from the dawn of Homo sapiens up until the invention of light, human beings were well adapted to their naturally evolved circadian rhythm. However, now with the invention of light, we are able to do activities and work and other things during the night that we could not do in the past. And thus, humans became more active during the night. But this is where the problem is. The bluer and brighter the light is, the more likely it is to suppress our melatonin release. And this can shift our sleep cycle, especially when we do it at night and when we're using very close-up screens. The average person today sleeps less than 7 hours. That's 2 hours less than a century ago. And this is mainly due to the abundance of electrical lights, followed by television, smartphones, TVs, and many other devices. Without knowing it, our circadian rhythm is being hijacked by this artificial light, and it's messing with our body's natural rhythm and body chemistry. So, our floodlit society has made sleep deprivation a lifestyle. You sometimes hear that sleep is seen as interrupting life, but the real menace is chronic sleeplessness. In Japan, for example, about 40% of the population sleeps less than 6 hours a night. Public dozing, for example, at an all-night diner in Tokyo is socially accepted. But you know what? Let's not kid ourselves. We've all gone through this. I have personally experienced this myself. I used to stay up until like 2 in the morning just looking at my phone or watching TV or Netflix or anything, while I still knew that I had to wake up at 8 in the morning. And I often realized after doing this few days in a row that I lacked focus, my performance was dropping very quickly, I couldn't retain any information, and a bunch of other things. When this circadian rhythm breaks down, research has shown that we're more prone to illnesses such as heart disease, diabetes, dementia. There's also a lot of evidence out there that shows that sleep is really good for maintaining a healthy immune system, good blood pressure, and a normal body temperature. Without enough sleep, we can't regulate our moods well or recover swiftly from injuries and many other things. Sleep may actually be more essential to us than food. Animals will die of sleep deprivation before starvation. And it's in deep sleep that our cells produce the most amount of growth hormone, which is needed throughout life to service bones and muscles. The first segment of the brain that starts to fizzle down once we don't get enough sleep is the prefrontal cortex. It's the cradle of problem solving and decision making. Underslept people are more irritable, moody, and irrational. So how should we manage our sleep schedules for optimal performance every day? Number 1, figure out at what time you want to wake up on a constant basis. Ideally, this is best when the sun or light enters into your room. Number 2, set a time to go to bed that gives you 9 hours of sleep before your wake up time. Number 3, Try to avoid as much artificial blue light at least 1 hour before you go to bed. Number 4, avoid stimulants like coffee way before you have to go to bed. Number 5, avoid sleep interrupters. For example, you've drinking way too much water just before going to bed, and you know you're going to have to wake up to take a piss. Or for example, any kind of loud noises that could happen. Use some earplugs if you have a dog that barks at night, for example. And as well, any artificial light that could be on in your room. This could be an alarm clock, a computer, or anything. Ideally, you want your room to be pitch black. And number 6, consistency. You want this to happen day in and day out, okay? It doesn't count if you do this one day and then the next day you go to sleep at 3 in the morning and you're like watching your phone or Netflix all night, and then the third day you go back into that rhythm. It doesn't work that way, okay? It has to be consistent. So here is an example of my sleep pattern. My last coffee of the day will probably be 7 hours before I go to bed. So let's say I'm gonna go to bed around 10. I would have my last coffee at least before 3 p.m. so that it doesn't affect me later on. Then I will go to bed around 10, so that gives me an hour before I actually fall asleep. And in that hour, I put my phone away. I don't look at any screens. I take away all kind of light that's around me. I mean, normal room lights, and that's fine. I mean, the amount of really strong blue light hitting your eyes is very low, so that's fine. And what I try to do is maybe read or organize myself for the next day or listen to a podcast. That's totally fine. And then I try to fall asleep around 11. Of course, I know that I'm not going to fall asleep immediately. Usually I'm thinking about stuff, or it takes me a bit of time to actually fall into sleep. So that's why I go to my bed and try to fall asleep at 11, because I know I'll probably fall asleep around 11:30 or midnight. And I set my alarm clock for 8 in the morning. So to me, that gives me exactly 8 hours or 8.5 hours or 9 hours, even better, until I wake up. So yeah, I try to sleep at 11 and I try to wake up at 8. Yeah. Some of you might think 9 hours, man. You don't need 9 hours. It's too much. I'd rather be spending my time doing other things. Sure, okay? But the reason why I have 9 hours is to allow myself to really have the maximum amount of sleep that's not too much. And what I try to mean with this is I try to wake up naturally. I don't want my alarm clock to wake me up in the middle of a REM cycle. What I try to do is, and what is happening quite often, is I will wake up sometimes 15 minutes before my alarm clock goes off. And that's great because I wake up naturally. I wake up really refreshed. I'm not woken up by something dramatic or something drastic or a really loud noise. And when this happens, I often just turn off my alarm because I'm awake. I always find that my days start off way better when I wake up naturally. That's why I give myself 9 hours. So there you go. See what works best for you and plan your sleep, okay? Trust me, just do this for like a week or so. Set a time to go to bed, set a time to wake up, giving yourself enough room to go through those sleep cycles of REM and non-REM. Try to stay away from any strong blue light just before you go to bed. And I swear to God, you're gonna feel so good in the mornings and your performance is going to shoot up, especially if you have been sleep deprived for quite some time. Okay, you might hear sometimes people say, I only need 5 hours of sleep, I only need 6 hours of sleep, blah, blah. You know what? Okay, some people might be genetically predisposed to only need 5 hours. I knew somebody who could sleep, 5 hours every single night, and his performance was consistently good. But that's him, okay? Majority of people do need their 8 hours of sleep, and you most likely fit within that majority of people. Unless you have genetic predisposition to be optimal all the time with very little sleep. So do it depending on what you need, what you want. I'm just giving you the information that I've researched and what has helped me. Take it or leave it, but just so you know, research has shown that sleep deprivation makes us much higher risk of illnesses, reduces our performance, reduces our health. So let's go back to sleeping the way we were naturally evolved to do so. Okay, so thanks a lot, guys. I hope this information is helpful. Please try it out. If you have any comments, please do mention them below. I read all your comments. And if you like the videos, please smash the like button and or subscribe. There will always be plenty of more videos on how to manage your life. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.